I have been talking about Power Diary on my channel for the past few weeks, but I thought it would be really good to do an overall Q&A about EHRs to see what it is that people are asking about them. So I sent an email out to my subscribers. I put stories on my Instagram to find out what it is that therapists want to know about EHR, and I did get a couple of replies, but then I also decided to check Reddit and Google and see what the most asked questions about EHRs from therapists in private practice were. So we're going to go through them today. For those of you who don't know me, my name's Kim. I help therapists in private practice with their business systems and processes, getting them confident with admin and reducing tech overwhelm. So we are going to get started with the questions. So the first question, and this did come through my Instagram, is what is an EHR? So EHR stands for Electronic Health Record System, and basically what it is an online database to run your private practice. So you have like CRMs, which are customer relationship management systems, and they can be used for all types of businesses. But an EHR is specifically for somebody in healthcare. So it could be, therapists, it can be psychologists, it can be psychiatrists, it can be physios, massage therapists, anybody that kind of runs a private practice or a group practice, which includes, medical or health related things. So that is what an EHR is. It's a cloud-based system. So basically everything that you upload or add onto the system is going to be in the cloud rather than on your local computer. So it means that you can access it from anywhere. So if you work from different locations, you would be able to log onto the system and be able to see your diary and things like that. So that is what an EHR is. The next question that came in is, when should I get an EHR? And unfortunately, there's no simple answer for this. It does depend on many factors, and the amount of clients is not just the only thing. You also want to look at how much you charge and what your current lifestyle is. It might make total sense for somebody with 5 clients, but a super busy lifestyle, maybe private practice isn't your only job, and so you just want to get an EHR so everything is automated and really easy for you to run your private practice alongside another job or caring responsibilities. And also somebody could have 10 or 12 clients and be able to run their private practice without using an EHR. With regards to the money side, if you have 10 clients but you are charging quite a low fee, it might not make sense to you to have an EHR and spend quite a big outgoing to run your private practice. Whereas if you are charging it a little bit more, or if you put your fee up by maybe £5 a client each, you might be able to cover the cost of the EHR by doing that. So it really does depend on your own circumstances, not just the amount of clients you have in your private practice. What I usually say is roughly around 10 clients, but when I speak to clients about what kind of online setup they would like, we do look at all those other factors as well. If you're currently running your practice on, paper based or just using an online system like a Google Calendar or something like that, then there are other options like just using Google Workspace to run your whole private practice. Maybe if you do that and automate some of your practice management, if that is not enough for you, then you could upgrade to an EHR. But if that kind of makes things better for you and you feel like you've got much more of a handle over your admin, then that might be enough for you. So that is why I always recommend Google Workspace and Power Diary as an EHR, because I do think that both systems have their place for therapists in private practice. Okay. So the next question is an EHR secure, and how does it protect client data? So the main thing you want to look for when you are looking at comparing EHRs is to make sure that they are HIPAA compliant, even if you are not in the US, because if they are HIPAA compliant, it means they are going to meet the standards kind of worldwide of what is required by them. So I always check that an EHR is HIPAA secure before I would go forward with working with them. The other thing is you do want to also make sure that it's GDPR compliant, because HIPAA and GDPR are actually like different things. HIPAA is specifically for medical side, but the GDPR is about how data is secured and used and all that kind of stuff. So you kind of want both of those things together because they are kind of the gold standard of everything that we need. Another thing that you can look for is ISO certification, and this is for data security. I would also recommend looking for that certification if you want to make sure that your EHR is super secure. Okay, so this question came through on Instagram and says, what features should I look for? And there really are a lot of features that you should look for in an EHR. My top two is making sure that it's user-friendly and that they have a good customer service team. Now, these things might not be what you typically would think of when you're looking for an EHR and the features that you want it to have. But let me tell you, these two things are super key. If it is not user-friendly, you are probably not going to use the system to its full capacity, and therefore you're going to waste a lot of time and money by doing things that could be automated by the system. Lots of people who I work for who have already set up EHRs for themselves, when I look at what they're doing, they are still doing a lot of manual work, which the system that they have selected could do for them, like sending appointment reminders or invoices, things like that. So you really want to make sure it's user-friendly so that it's easy for you to work your way around learning the system and being able to set it up. And the good customer service is because if you have a problem or if you have a question about the system, you want to get a reply really quickly. So you want to make sure that it has great customer service and maybe even a chat box feature so that you can get your question answered right away. One of the things I really like about Power Diary is that it has an amazing help function where it has step-by-step guides of how to do things. So if you're just wondering, I wonder if I could set up a form for my intake paperwork, you could just put that into the help bar and it will give you a step-by-step guide of how to set that up. So I love that about Power Diary. But when it comes to the features that you should look out for when it comes to managing your private practice, I've written down appointments, invoices and payments, reports. You want to make sure it syncs with your own calendar, whether that's a Google Calendar or a different kind of calendar, Outlook maybe. You want to make sure that it automatically sends out appointment reminders. You want to make sure that you can create forms for your intake paperwork inside the system, so that will just tie everything up nicely. And you want to make sure that you can create smart email templates so that you can personalize your emails, you can add in the right appointment link or the appointment time and date and things like that. Most will have that, but you just want to make sure that the system has all of those features. With Power Diary specifically, and things I know that the system has that other systems don't necessarily have or didn't the last time I checked, so you can comment if I'm wrong, but I really like that Power Diary is super customizable. It's the most customizable system I have seen. So you can really make sure that it fits with your practice by adding in all different kind of drop-down selections that you can create yourself. I really like that when you create the forms, it has smart fields within the forms. So when the client completes it, such as their full name, their date of birth, their address, there's lots of other features that you can have smart fields for. Once they complete that form, it will automatically update their client profile. So that reduces a lot of admin that you need to do yourself. And it also adds that form into their client profile as an attachment so that you can easily see when that form was completed and all the information from the form. So I really like that it kind of syncs everything and ties everything up nicely together. Talking about the client profiles, I love the client profiles in Power Diary. Everything is in one place. You can see everything about that client, all of their personal information. You can see who their contacts are, like an emergency contact or an appointment reminder contact. You can have all of their billing information, all of their invoicing information, all of their appointment information, all of their client notes if you want to add, their appointment notes onto their client profile as well. So everything is in one place and it's super easy to kind of navigate around inside the client profile so you can get a really good overview of everything that you need about your client. I really love that it has all the records of communication and that you can do really smart things like have session packs. So if you work with clients where you have let's say you book 12 sessions at a time, you can book a session pack for 12 sessions and the system will count down how many sessions they've had with you, and it'll be really obvious to both you and the client how many sessions they have left with you. This can be the same if they have medical insurance and they have a pre-authorization. Other things I like about Power Diary is that you can easily add discounts onto the client profile in the billing section. So let's say your fee is £100 and you've agreed a fee of £80 with one of your clients. You can just add a £20 discount on there, and every single time you create an appointment, the system will know how much to charge the client, and there's no remembering, there's no clicking around trying to work out how much you need to charge the client, and there's no change in information once you create the appointment to add that discount on every single time. So I love that about Power Diary as well. So the next question is, how much do EHRs cost? This was actually a question from Reddit, which I can understand. And again, it really does differ. I would really suggest working out how much you can afford for an EHR before you start looking at EHRs. They're all going to vary, and you can get ones for £10 a month, and Power Diary works out for a single person £8 a week, but you get 50% discount for the first 6 months. So that can be helpful if you are upping your fee for clients so that you can kind of cover the cost of the EHR, and it gives you 6 months to do that. So I really do like that they give you a 50% discount, but you want to make sure that you will be able to afford the full price, obviously. So when you're looking, don't always just look at the discounts or bonuses that you get. You want to make sure that once they end, you can afford the system. So like I said, you can go from sort of £10 a month to £10 a week for a single private practice. There's probably others that are even more expensive as well. I haven't done a massive deep dive in the past year or so of all the different systems and comparing all the features and things like that. Maybe I could do that for another video, looking at all the different types of EHRs that there are. However, I have transferred people from systems to Power Diary, and every single one that I have transferred, the client has always been super happy with the amount of automation and additional features that Power Diary has. So I don't know. That's my take on it anyway. Okay, so on to why do I recommend Power Diary over the other systems. So the reason I recommend Power Diary is basically all the things I've just said. I love how customizable it is. I think it is cost effective. It's definitely not the cheapest, but I think for all of the features that you get, it does work out the best price wise. I like that you can invoice and also take online payments. I like the customer service. I love how easy it is to use. So all the kind of things that I have mentioned in this video is the reason that I recommend Power Diary. They do not sponsor me. I am an affiliate for them, and my link in the description is an affiliate link, which does give you the 6 months half price plus 500 SMS credits. So you do get them extra if you buy with my link. But I definitely would not recommend a system that I wouldn't use. All of my clients that have an EHR have Power Diary. We don't work with any clients that don't use Power Diary. I've transferred people from other systems to use Power Diary. There may be other systems in the past year that have kind of caught up where they are and have closed the gap on features. But I think if you are with a system and it is not doing you any harm, as in like it's not causing you any problems, there's no glitches, like regularly, obviously all systems will have glitches, then sometimes it's better the devil you know, and actually transferring to a new system can be a massive headache unless there is a really good reason to move. So like I said, people that come to me to work with me around Power Diary, it's usually because what they currently have is not serving them, and when I show them all the things that Power Diary can do, they are usually wowed by it. So that is why I recommend Power Diary. I have never had a problem with it for all of my clients. So that's basically it. That is why I recommend Power Diary. Can I use an EHR for online sessions? So of course you can use an EHR if you are doing only online sessions. It's kind of perfect for that because, it's an online system. So people are used to, getting online reminders and things like that. With Power Diary, you can't sync it with another telehealth platform, but the way we've got around that is by just using the Zoom personal meeting link and embedding that into the emails so that clients can get the link with their appointment. But Power Diary do also have an inbuilt telehealth system, which they have greatly improved over the past sort of 6 months. They have done some beta testing on an upgraded version of it, which includes additional features, which I'll link because I don't know them off by heart, but I'll put them on the screen what additional features they have. And I have been told by people who use the system that it's been much more reliable. So going forward, I probably would encourage clients to use the telehealth platform rather than paying, £150 a year for Zoom if it's not required. I don't know if other EHRs have telehealth platforms. I assume that they do, but I don't know how good they are or how reliable they are. The next question was, can an EHR help with insurance billing? And this did come from somebody based in the US. So I actually can't answer that question specifically for them. So I did actually reply and let them know, because I didn't want them kind of hanging on for this and then just for me to say, I don't know, because I don't work with US based therapists in private practice. I can definitely work with a private pay only therapist in the US that's in private practice, but I don't know all of the details around the health insurance system out there. I only know the UK one. I know with Power Diary, they have a system that you can do insurance billing with in Australia, but unfortunately for us people in the UK, as far as I know, and if people do know different, you can let me know, but as far as I'm aware, the only way that you can bill insurance companies in the UK really is through health code. Now, each of the different insurance companies like WPA, Aviva, AXA, they'll probably have another way that you can invoice, whether that's sending them the invoice via email or whether they have their own portal that you can add invoices on. But I have always found them so unreliable. They say that they don't get invoices, they take weeks and weeks to get back to you, we don't get remittance properly. So for all my clients that use health insurance, I always recommend to them to just use health code, because at the end of the day, although it's a super pain to have to pay to invoice, and I do appreciate that we shouldn't have to do that, you shouldn't have to do that, it actually does save you time and money in the long run, because it's much more reliable, and every invoice that goes through health code, we do get a remittance or we do get paid quite reliably from every single insurance company. The caveat to that is Bupa, and we use providers online for Bupa, and again, that's super reliable, you don't have to pay for it, that's just for Bupa, and that works really well. So the way we get around that for our clients is, like I said before, we use session packs. So let's say the client is pre-authorized 20 sessions, we'll create a session pack for that client that says, Aviva, pre-authorized therapy sessions, 20, and then the system will count down, and then when we get to around 3 sessions left, we will then make the client aware that they only have 3 sessions left, and if they need to get an extension or whether that's going to be the end of their sessions. So that's the way we get around it, and then we just invoice through health code, and we just manually update the system as we get payments so that we can keep track of the payments. So yes, it still is a faff, and I don't believe that having an EHR really helps a great deal with managing medical insurance. So I wouldn't move to an EHR for those therapists in the UK. I wouldn't move to an EHR to help with that, because I don't think it necessarily does massively, but the session packs do help. Okay, can an EHR be used on my mobile? So most telehealth platforms will either have an app or you'll be able to access it via your mobile. Yes, I do know that you can do that with Power Diary, and the thing I like about using Power Diary on your mobile is if you are doing client notes, you can voice note, so you can use the microphone on your mobile to voice note the client notes. So what I would probably do if it was me is make some rough notes and just save it as a draft, and then at the end of the day you can tidy things up. So that can just be really helpful, just to quickly kind of log on your phone. It's not an app, it's just a mobile browser, but it is all synced up for mobile use, so it's not super tiny. It is really accessible using your phone, and I'm sure that most of the other EHRs have that. And again, I guess that would be a feature that you would want to look out for when you're looking for an EHR. Okay, final question. If I want to work with a VA, should I get an EHR? So again, this is the same answer as when should I get an EHR? If you want to work with a VA, I would 100% say you need to have a cloud-based system for your practice management. but that could be Google Workspace or it could be an EHR. It really depends on lots of different factors. Like I said, they're all the same factors as that previous question, but your VA will be able to work on your practice management just as well with Google Workspace as they can with an EHR. I would say though that the amount that you pay your VA will reduce if you're using an EHR, because there's a lot more automation that you can do with an EHR. So if you're doing like a weighing up costs, and let's say the EHR costs you £40 a month and your VA costs you £30 an hour, you'll probably save 2 hours of admin by using the EHR. So it could be a cost benefit to you to have the EHR if you're using the VA. Okay, so that was all of the questions that I got or found online about EHRs. I really hope you found this useful. If you have any questions about EHRs or Power Diary specifically, which I'm much more of an expert on than the others, then I'd love you to leave a comment below. I'm always in my comments. I love answering questions. So please leave one if you have anything you want to say. Until next time, thanks so much for watching.